I've been on a bit of a mission recently to experiment with different aspects of the game I've unintentionally ignored over the last couple of years. From trying out new ships with EMPs and then boarding my bounties, to salvaging my PvE kills like some kind of crime scene cleanup detail. But one play style that has never really been on my radar, pun 100% intended, has been stealth ships. After some conversations with other players in the community, I settled on trying out the Aegis Sabre Firebird. Let's talk about the ship. Now, the reason I went with the Firebird over any of the other stealth-based ships is down to its missile capabilities, as I thought that would be the most interesting to play with. Being able to stay out of sight, fire a payload, and get out without ever being seen really seemed to lean into that stealthiness. And I've got to say, it's scary how effective it is. The Firebird comes stock with stealth components, which we will talk more about a little bit later, but more importantly for me, it looks the part. I will point out that I am using a pledge store paint on the ship despite buying the ship in game. I just wanted the ship to look a little bit more stealthy, even if it really does nothing. I honestly love this thing. It's fast, it's sleek, and it's scarily deadly. For its missiles, it comes equipped with 24 size 3s, which are no joke. What makes it even scarier is that you can actually load up a single salvo with 6 missiles at once rather than the 4 missiles most ships can fire all in one go. I may be wrong, but to my knowledge, no other ship at this size can do that. I mentioned that I bought it in-game, which is a huge bonus, and while it isn't cheap, for how effective it is in its role, I don't think the price is too bad. The Firebird can be bought for just under 5.6 million AUEC from New Deal in Lawville, which I think is reasonable. Do bear in mind that restock cost on those missiles is around 180,000 AUEC, so pick your missions wisely. Let's take a look at stealth, and I won't claim to fully understand how stealth works in the game, and honestly I haven't gone too far down that rabbit hole on this one just yet, but I will explain some of the basics as I understand them. There are 3 different ship signatures to pay attention to when choosing or using a stealth-based ship. The first of these is IR or infrared signature, and this is essentially how much heat your ship is outputting into the area, and this can be picked up by other ships' radars. Your components will generate heat when in use, increasing this signature if your coolers aren't working effectively. The second, and I think possibly one of the most important, is EM or electromagnetic signature. EM signature increases based on the power your ship is using in different areas such as weapons, shields, life support, and other things. By turning off certain components, your EM signature will drop, decreasing the likelihood of being detected. For the Firebird, I generally turn off my weapons, one of my coolers, and my shields, as I never plan to get detected or need to use them. The final one is the cross-section. Every ship is built differently and has different shapes, and the cross-section is dictated by how much surface area is exposed to a target. If you face a target head-on in the Firebird, for example, you are much less likely to be detected than if you were to point your wider underside profile to them. These values can be seen in the power management screen on your MFDs. From here, you can monitor your signature and tailor your power profile to your needs. On the MFD, you'll notice there are 2 values. The top value is your current signature for that given signature type. On the bottom is the background radiation of those signatures. If your current signature is lower than that background value, you are, for all intents and purposes, invisible to enemy radars. Do bear in mind that there are other factors that dictate if you are spotted, such as the power of an enemy radar, but honestly, I don't understand it enough to fully explain it. I do intend to go down that rabbit hole soon. Just know that you will never be 100% undetectable. I've used this ship in both PvE and PvP situations so far. Now, PvE is an interesting one, mainly because of how derpy the AI are a lot of the time. as stealth is incredibly easy on PvE bounties, especially since they don't seem to know how to use countermeasures. I'll use PvE as an opportunity to demonstrate my approach to stealth in action with a quick medium risk target bounty. Okay, let's get ourselves set up here. So the aim here is to try and bring down this EM rating that you can see right here. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to turn off guns and shields. Might be controversial, but we don't necessarily need them for what we plan to do. And I'm going to turn off one of my coolers, drop the other down to 1, and already you can see that EM rating and the infrared rating dropping down. This is going to make us incredibly difficult to spot, especially during these PvE missions. So drop out of nav mode. What I'm also going to do is cycle to missiles so that I can keep an eye on my ratings. Perfect. And you can see up in the top left, I have 24 missiles, size 3. And when I cycle up with G, you can see we have the normal 4, but then all the way up to 6 with the Firebird, which is just a disgusting amount of missiles, to be honest, considering that you cannot be seen. Let's head in on this bounty. You can see my EM rating down here is 2.9. I have a contact. What you'll notice down here in the right is I've not pinged on their radar at all. So, for all intents and purposes, I am invisible to this Gladius right now. Still not pinged on the radar. And there's our target. So really, we can actually just fly past the S4. We still haven't pinged, even within nearly 8 kilometers. And if I really wanted to, I could take that ship out now with the missiles. No problem. We're going to head in on the target. Totally avoid it. Here we are. It's only a Hornet. We don't need to fire a ton of missiles here. See, I can get so close. I could fire missiles from here and take the target out immediately. Still haven't pinged on the radar. They still have no idea that I'm here. You can see that EM rating down at the bottom, the infrared, and the cross-section emission. Now, if I'm going to be spotted here, it's going to be via the cross-section. Within 5 kilometers, still haven't been spotted. You can see that radar still hasn't pinged. So we're going to go all in, get the missiles ready, go straight in with 4. Still hasn't pinged. And fire away. And from there we can just bug out immediately. That Gladius is still none the wiser. Now pinged on its radar. So now it does know that I exist. With that, I'm totally wrong. There's nothing it can do from here. That's it, we've got away. So, for hit and run tactics, this is massively overpowered. Before that Gladius had even noticed I was around, I completely jumped out of the area. As you can see, I managed to hit that bounty and get out of there before the escort even noticed I was in the area. If it wasn't for the fact I was gathering footage of what was happening, I would have fired and jumped away before the missiles had even hit. It almost feels overpowered when it comes to PvE bounties, if I'm honest, but it's a great way to grind those levels. Now for PvP, and my experiences with PvP have been fairly minimal as I am a relatively peaceful player. I did try my hand at player bounty hunting, but at the moment it seems a little bit broken, and when it wasn't broken, I seem to be spending all of my time just watching a yellow marker at Grim Hex. My one real experience of PvP that I happened to be recording at the time comes with a bit of a story, and it was during a brief trip to Pyro for another video I had been planning. I'd been minding my own business at an outpost, having a look at some discarded cargo, when a player ship came out of seemingly nowhere and started blasting all of the discarded ships in that area and then chasing me too. As I tried to run back to my ship, I was starcitizened and I fell through the planet. However, we always carry on. I made my way back to the area in the Firebird, and hidden in the rocks I could see the same ship. It seemed like they were hiding or planning to take down other players that came to the outpost. This seemed to be the perfect opportunity to test whether I would get detected by their radar. As you can see, I got remarkably close without them ever noticing I was there. Now, unfortunately, thanks to how they had positioned themselves, my missiles never made it to the target as they would hit the rocks surrounding them. However, if they had been out in the open, they would have stood no chance at all from a full salvo and wouldn't have ever noticed I was there. Eventually, I did get the kill and was undetected whilst doing it. It seems players also don't know how to use their countermeasures, though I did wonder if maybe this was a player who was new to the game, so I felt a little bit bad until I remembered how they had chased me around the outpost. All in all, it's genuinely quite scary how effective a stealth ship can be, and it makes me wonder how many times there may have been a player out there lurking and watching from a distance and I've had no idea. It must be panic-inducing to have salvos of missiles flying in at you and having no clue where they are coming from and never even knowing there was a ship in the area to begin with. I've genuinely enjoyed my time being the one who lurks, and while it may not be my permanent playstyle, it's one I will continue to use. But I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on stealth and what other ships you might recommend for that playstyle. Or do you even have some different playstyles that are your favourite that you think I should try? Let me know down in the comments, or come join our small but growing Discord community linked in the description. If you found this interesting or found it useful, consider subscribing for more starcitizen content from me in the future. With all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.